Hi everybody, welcome to today's session. We're going to spend some time talking about transformational leadership. Now, we've spent a lot of time in the past talking about leadership, and it's something that people don't spend enough time on really mastering. And leadership, and especially transformational leadership, is exactly what it says. It is leadership there to transform not only yourself, but the people that you lead and therefore organizations. So it doesn't matter if there are one person in the organization or there's 10,000, that doesn't matter. It is, and the whole idea about transformational leadership is to get everybody to really optimize what they can give, not just to the business, but to life as well. Jim Rohn famously said that don't wish it was easier, wish that you were better. Now, in all aspects of life, when you start looking at it, it comes down to the person. If it's going to be, it's up to me. And once we understand that, that is when things really start to get into place. So to really talk about transformational leadership, there's a couple of points that I really want to touch on. And around that, it will explain more on what it's all about. So the first point I want to start off with is transformational leadership is a leadership style that focuses on inspiring and motivating people to achieve their full potential. Now, that is a word that is often used and often misunderstood, and that's the potential part. Because people will often say, oh, we were all born equal, which is a fallacy, because not everybody were born equal with all the same abilities. I was definitely not born equal to Usain Bolt when it comes to running. So genetically, it is a farce to say that everybody is born equal. But everybody was born equal with the ability to change their mind. And if you start understanding what your true potential is, and I think that's one thing that people must understand is that everybody, except if you've got a physical disability or mental disability, but everybody that's born in the realms of what we call normal has got infinite potential. In other words, there's nothing that you cannot do. But remember, Henry Ford said, the man who thinks he can or can't is probably right. So it is all about how you think about it. Now, it starts with me. I must first understand that I've got the potential to achieve anything that I put my mind to. Within limits, I can put my mind to it however I want to. I will never run 100 meters under 10 seconds. So within reason, you cannot weigh 65 kilos and think that you're going to be the next Springbok front rower. It's physically impossible. But within reason, whatever you try to achieve, you should be able to achieve. But that's a decision. And only when you realize that is when you can create an environment for other people to achieve their dreams as well. Now, that's where the job starts. Is very few people, and here's a quote from Mark Twain. He said that he can teach anybody to achieve whatever they want. The problem is, he's never found somebody that knows exactly what they want. So in achieving your full potential and in creating an environment within your organization to help people to fulfill their potential, they must know what they want. The job of a transformational leader is also to create an environment where people can find out what they really want. Point 2, it involves a leader who is able to create a vision for the future and inspire others to work towards that vision. Now, that is basically the core of leadership, is to convince a group of people to follow the same objective and achieve that. And you often see that in cult leaders where they can really cast a very, very compelling vision for the future. And that is what is expected of all leaders. If you're a leader in your house, if you're a leader of one or you're a leader of thousands, you must take time to build that vision of the future. What is the best possible vision of your life? What's the best possible vision that you can create for your organization? Where are you going? Because people follow leaders that has got a bigger vision than what they've got themselves. You want people to buy into the vision and then lead them towards that vision. So there's plans, there's strategic plans, there's operational plans, there's tactical plans to achieve that. And if your vision is to climb Everest, when you break it down to the lowest level, your first step is probably to figure out how or in which country is Everest, and then start getting fit. And then there's a step that you follow. Nothing happens immediately, but you must cast a vision for people to hang on to in difficult times and to follow and to know that there's something bigger than themselves that they are trying to achieve. Thirdly, transformational leaders focus on empowering their followers and encourage them to take ownership of their work. Well, the crux of the point is to take ownership of their work. In other words, take ownership of your own actions, of your own life, and then all the other things will follow. So when people are empowered, and often you have to verbally give people permission to do that, because in a society where we've been living in the last 70 years, where we've seen abundance like this earth has never seen, often the problem is that people don't understand that they need to take accountability first for themselves and then for the work that they must do, and then take accountability for the outcomes as well. When we start talking about equitable outcomes, it means that we want everybody to have the same outcome. Now, you can go and look at any organization or any family, and you won't find two people who's willing to do equal amounts of work, to work equally hard, to get up at the same time in the morning, to go and sleep same time at night, to do their chores diligently. Any parent out there will tell you that they've got two types of children. The one will do it, the other one will just ignore it. So to find that equilibrium is extremely important to get that going in an organization. Number 4 is they lead by example and demonstrate a high level of integrity and ethical behavior. Now we're back to our favorite words, and we've spoke about it before, and we see it every day. I saw it this morning in a meeting we had with an external client, where I asked the question when these two words came across the table about ethical behavior and integrity. And I asked the members of the organization around the table, please indulge me. With a sticky note in front of you, please write down your personal definition of those two words. And there were 4 representatives of the organization in the room. Like predictable, not one of the 4 agreed on their initial definition of those two words. So the role of a transformational leader is to clarify and find a common definition of those type of words within an organization. Because when everybody agrees what ethical behavior means and what words like morals and integrity and those words mean, and it is the group's definition of that, then everybody buys into that. Number 5 is transformation leaders are also skilled communicators, able to articulate their vision in a way that inspires and motivates others. The skilled communication. It is important, and Tom Peters, famous business writer in the 1980s, coined the term of management by walking around. And it means that the visibility of the leader must be there, but also the communication. Because the more a leader understands and get to know the people that follow them, the better decisions they can make. Because then you take into consideration all the personal issues, the personal challenges, everything that plays or have an impact on the performance of that individual. You can take that into consideration when making your decisions. For one person, it's a case of rolling out of bed, jumping in their car, driving to the office, and picking up hot coffee on the way through a drive-through, and they're at the office. Another person might have to make use of public transport, and they have to take a bus, a train, a taxi, and they must get up so much earlier because they travel such vast distances. And their ability to get to work on time, their ability to have food, their ability to get home at a decent time to their family is totally different than the next person. And that is the things that we must take into consideration when we talk about transformational leadership. The next point is they create a positive and supportive work environment where people feel valued and appreciated. And again, in a group setting, those words must be explored and understood, because everybody feels valued in a different way. It comes down to love language. Because even in a relationship, people feel valued in different ways. So it is the role of the leader to find out what are those ways. Because one person might feel valued when they get words of affirmation. Another person might feel valued when they get an award or financial award or whatever it is. But it is the role of the leader to understand what that is and then bring up other leaders to understand that about their people. Because those are the things, those little dopamine drops in the brain that gives us that feel-good feeling. And when people feel good about where they work, they will do much more than what they get paid for. So that is a very important point. The next one is transformational leaders encourage creativity and innovation and are open to new ideas and perspectives. The one thing to add to that is transformational leaders celebrate failure, because only people who try new things has got a good chance of failing. So that is the important environment to create. Now remember, and Jordan Peterson talks about this quite a bit, when you are a junior in an organization, you are not employed for your creativity. You are not there to try and impress the people that started the business or has been there for years with your phenomenal brain. That's unfortunately how life works. Because when you are young, you're much better than what people think you are. But you're there to do a job, and it's normally a repetitive task job. As you grow older and as you get to the top, you're probably not as good as people think you are, but you've achieved it through tenure, through hard work, through being there, through the good and the bad times, because there's no business in the world, no relationship in the world that is only got good times. There are bad times, there are difficult times, there are times that you really have to buckle down. And that's why you achieve seniority and the respect that goes with that. So creativity is important, and that's how companies grow. But please don't think that you're going to walk in the front door on the first day and your creativity is going to change the business. It's not going to happen. The next one is they are able to develop strong relationships with their followers and are often seen as mentors and coaches. First, the relationship. You only build relationship with people when you spend time with them. Hence the term management by walking around. You have to understand people. You have to understand them as a person, because then, just like an external customer, you build know, like, and trust. If the only time that people hear about you is at a training seminar or the signature at the bottom of their payslip, they don't know you. They know that you're the owner or the boss or the leader, but they don't know you. And more importantly, you don't know them. John Maxwell said that people don't care how clever you are until they know how much you care. So it is important that people understand that you care, that you take time out to understand them and get to know them and build a relationship with them. Being a mentor and being a coach is extremely important. And we've moved away from consultancy because coaching is there to get the team to perform at their best. And remember, when the team lose, the coach gets blamed. When the team wins, it's a brilliant team. So a coach is there to make sure that the team is winning all the time. The mentor is there to help people understand from their own experience how to become successful. So that's important to have those two roles. Next point, transformational leaders are able to create a sense of purpose and meaning for their followers, helping them to see how their work fits into the larger mission of the organization. That is so important. Few people create a vision for their own life. But by default, people need to believe in something bigger. People gravitate to believe in something bigger than themselves. And that's why the leader, the transformational leader, must create that vision, that compelling reason why I must get up every morning, go to work, do my very best, work late, sleep little, make sure that the deadlines are made, to buy into that vision of this new utopian world that we're going to create when we achieve all this. That's the role of your transformational leader. And the last point for today is they encourage their followers to take risks and to push themselves beyond their comfort zones. By now, you will know that I often refer to the Bible. One of the core concepts that I use for my new book is the parable of the talents. Here's the thing that dawned on me is that everybody is born with certain innate talents. Some people can sing from the day that they're born. Some people can run fast. Some people can juggle without training. All kinds of talents. But here's the trick about talents. Now, and sports people have been saying that for years, that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. In other words, when you intentionally develop your talents, that is when you start benefiting from that. Question I always ask people is, so how many talents have you got? People normally say, oh, lots. Until you ask them, so name them. So the trick about talents works like this, is as you start developing the one talent and you get to a certain level, your next talent is revealed to you. Often you see people that first they act, then they sing, then they do something else, and you wonder how does one person get all the talents? And the answer is just they started working on one, and then the next one followed, and the next one followed, and the next one followed. So as a transformational leader, your job is to create the environment where people can find out how many talents they've got, to take the risk, to try something new, and celebrate it when they fail, and celebrate even more when they succeed. I always tell my 10-year-old that nobody learns anything from winning. We only learn to celebrate. But when we learn the most is when we lose, because then we need to go and analyze what went wrong, what can we take forward from here, and what is the experience we take to the next try to increase our chances of being successful. So that's very important. Transformational leadership is a fully immersive experience. You go flat out, because if you as a leader don't go flat out, nobody will follow you. I'll see you in the next session.